My name is Sean McCarns. I worked here at Koike Aaronsons for 15 years. I've been in the machine shop for that long, and I've been probably in the machining field for about 25 years total. What I do is I take raw material, usually anything round, and I'll turn it into parts that are needed for our cutting machines and our positioners. A lot of the parts that I actually do go across many different machines. Some of them will go across some of our mills, but my side of things is on the lathe side. There's a few different types of machinery that I'll run out there on the floor. I run manual lathes, the automatic lathes, and some of the vertical turning lathes. In my job, I'm able to actually take a print of a design for a part and go ahead and do anything that needs to be done as far as turning, threading, grooving, holding everything to a pretty high precision, making sure that the parts are going to be able to fit correctly, and at times if there's any sort of engineering changes, I go ahead and I'll do whatever needs to be done in that aspect too. Well, in my line of work, a lot of the parts that I will make or other machinists will make will go into automotive, aeronautical, food processing, you name it. There's plenty of different places where the things that machinists will make are going to be used. Some of it is even in the medical field. Typical workday can be pretty hectic. You don't know what our dispatch might tell us that we need to do, what machines might be coming up as hot. So I could be running anything from a manual lathe that day to all of a sudden going down and running a manual mill. There's no really telling how your day is gonna end up, but it's usually a lot of hopping around. You'll get on different equipment. You'll actually experience a lot of different parts that you usually wouldn't see in a day. So it's a lot of fun. I enjoy what I do. It's pretty cool to take a piece of metal and just turn it into something neat. Well, coming out of high school, I didn't really have any idea what I wanted to do. I was pretty much just kind of winging it. I did go on to Alfred for a short amount of time in hopes of being an electrician, but that didn't really excite me. So I kind of left from Alfred and kind of got a job working on a farm. Went from there. I just didn't know what I wanted to do. And so what happened was I was working at a pellet factory myself, and I had been laid off from there. And my brother was actually working for a small machine shop, and they were looking for somebody that was gonna polish and deburr different parts that were made in that place. So what happened was one day somebody didn't come into work, and they needed somebody to fill in and just run a machine. So I just all of a sudden went over and started pumping parts out on a machine. Didn't really know much about what I was doing, but I had a lot of help. A lot of people came around and told me, hey, this does this is how you do this, and that's kind of how I got to be where I am now. So a lot of it ended up trial and error, learning as we went. A lot of good people along the way showed me different ways to do things, and that's one thing about what I do is you get to work with many people that have different ideas of how to make things, and you'll always learn something different, and you can never shut yourself down to actually trying to hear these people out because they sometimes have some great ideas. I actually took a lot of technology classes. That was part of my major, and I also did a lot of mathematics and science. Definitely a lot of teamwork. Everybody has to know what part of the process we're working on out there on the floor. You're working a lot in time management. Definitely trying to get the parts coming through the shop at a consistent flow to get the guys out in high bay, as far as the assemblers, putting together everything that's needed. Now, when you're getting into the aspects of trying to hold critical tolerances and sizes, lots of inspection work done out on the shop floor. Those are pretty much the most critical parts of my job. Pretty much said it already. I love making parts. It's pretty cool to take something that it's just raw. You don't see anything there, and you'll get the print, and you're able to actually go ahead and put that hole in there. Go ahead and thread it. You know, it's just kind of neat. I never thought I'd get into something like this, and once I started doing it, it just consistently keeps on going. There's always something new that comes up, and I'll see a part that, oh man, how the heck am I going to do that? I got to figure out what's going to happen, who I might have to talk to or pick a brain about in order to get things done. But, you know, it's just a lot of trial and error. It's just kind of cool when you get a part finished and you take it out to the guys out in assembly and they put it together and they said, oh, this worked out great. So. Well, one of the most difficult parts was when I started doing this, I don't think that I had enough mathematic background. I wish I would have got more into the trig aspect. There's plenty of things that come up that you're not able to calculate out correctly. Those formulas that you used in school, yeah, you're going to need them in my line of work. That's one of the toughest parts of my job. A lot of times when we have a new design, making parts that you'll see that you're not quite sure are gonna actually work out correctly. That's the other thing that kind of a lot of hands-on as far as seeing how things are gonna go together. Sometimes I don't get to see that aspect, which makes it very tough to make sure things are gonna work out correctly. I love working R&D. I love when the engineers come out with something new that we don't have a program for. Programming is really what I enjoy doing. I'm very good at Fanuc G-code programming, Mazatrol programming, even doing things out on a manual lathe itself. I mean, that's all hands-on. You gotta do everything. Each cut is you know. I enjoy doing that stuff. The program aspect of it is pretty cool. I like to dabble in whatever I can. So, but when they come up with that new design, a lot of times it's a one-off. So you're going on your own. There's no programs made for you. I actually would continue what I did. More math. I would have went through the trig. I would have went even further than that, and I also would have took some welding in school. That definitely would have also helped me out. one thing about what I do is it never ends. There's always something new. The equipment that comes out nowadays is always different. There's going to be some new aspect that you're going to see out there that's going to come through, and you're just going to, it's a constant learning process. It never stops. But if you're into this kind of thing, that kind of keeps me going in it. So